This seems to be nice. Hopefully it's synchronized.
Yeah.
Seems better, at least so far.
Well, yeah, this one seems like way less of a lag, as in no lag.
Yeah, which is what you want.
Yeah.
And it says that it's recording you, so that's good.
Hey!
We're making progress.
Considering the last time it did not. And we didn't realize it until well afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, welcome to Movie Boners.
We haven't done the thing.
Oh,
This isn't real. This is pre-show.
Pre.
All right, are you ready to start?
I am.
Okay. That was less synchronized than ever, but...
Yeah. It worked.
Yeah.
It works.
Well, welcome to Movie Boners.
Welcome to Movie Boners.
Ooh, that's delightful.
Oh, yeah, that is good.
Welcome to this very special... What is this? Hold on, I'll have to scroll back up. Welcome to this 93rd Annual Academy Award episode.
Woo. I tried to make it as lukewarm as I could.
Yeah, that's what I got out of that. That works really well. So, a couple of things.
Yeah.
I guess housekeeping things before we get into the episode. Well, number one, thank you, Wandering Lions.
There it is.
For our beer segment. Yeah, everybody probably knows Wandering Lion Studios. They're an awesome independent film studios, but they, good friends and good guys. So definitely check them out. I was going to mention, we have mentioned in the past, they're big supporters of independent artists. One of the ways that they've kind of been doing that is they like have an artist of the month that they'll like shout out, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And
we got to be a part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, they did us, I think, in February. And they do all kinds. So they did Dorks Like Us. They did an illustrator in March. But I was going to mention that their April one is Hannah Harrison, who is an actor. And,
Go Hannah! Woo!
Yeah, so go to their Instagram, Wandering Line Studios, Instagram or Facebook. Check them out. They're really cool.
Yep.
And I'm sure they'll have posts about Hannah, and so I thought that was appropriate. She's an actor, and we have an actor-y episode celebrating best actors, so
yeah,
kind of made sense.
Oh, I just lost my track of thought. Oh, also check out, they do Movie Mondays and Movie Trivia Thursday.
Yeah.
So be sure to check that out and join in. Some
I've
of
been
their
doing good at guessing lately.
Are you just stealing my answers?
Well, I knew it before I went and saw that you had already answered it.
Oh, okay.
I was going to comment it.
Well, mine was there first, so
Yeah.
You suck. I rule.
I know, I was too slow.
Yeah, check that out. The trivia is actually kind of fun. They give you a little bit of a tidbit about the movie, which is,
Hints.
if you're anything like me, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Check them out. Wandering Lion Studio.
Yeah.
Hey,
and
Jake.
their website, WanderingLionStudios.biz.
Yeah.
Hey,
What
Dustin,
beer are you drinking?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm drinking, because it's our Academy Award episode, I'm drinking Oscar Blues. Oscars like the Oscars.
Man.
It's their Cano Bliss IPA called Resinous.
All right.
It's a hazy IPA.
Okay. So I'm drinking Electric Jellyfish,
Oh, wow.
which is also a hazy IPA.
Interesting.
All right.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting can. It's from Pint House Brewing out here in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
It's really, really freaking good.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have mentioned Oscar Blues Brewery is in Longmont here in Colorado.
Yeah. I could not find a theme, but I kind of feel mine is still somewhat into it because this is our third award episode, right? We did Golden Globe, Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
So instead of like Electric Boogaloo or Boogaloo, this is my Electric Jellyfish.
I like it.
It's our the third
sequel.
award ceremony episode.
Okay. That's a very big stretch, but I'll...
It is. I got nothing. That was as close as I can get. Don't judge.
The other housekeeping thing we're going to do is we've been watching movies lately. Obviously, we have a movie podcast.
Kind of what we do.
But we watched like non-episode related movies.
Right.
Partly because we had a big break while you were moving. And so I was watching a lot of things that had nothing to do with an upcoming episode. And so we were going to like shout out, I guess, a couple of those things. One of the things we posted on the Instagram recently, we both saw Godzilla vs. Kong. That's a big deal.
Which was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun.
It was pretty much everything that I wanted. The CGI in it is amazing.
Yeah.
Like the reason you watch it mostly for the CGI.
Right. And my one complaint of the movie is the same as like everybody else. Too many people. Like
less people, more monsters.
Come on. We don't need Millie Bobby Brown or whatever her name is in that much of the movie. Her character doesn't, that whole like subplot arc, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't care for, but the rest of the movie, awesome.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. There was a key third monster that showed up that I was very excited for. I've been waiting forever for that guy. I don't want to spoil it, but check it out. If you're a Godzilla fan.
You already pretty much know who shows up. But
I didn't know if it was in the trailer or not. I didn't watch the trailer.
It's like real split second at the start of it, but Kong versus Godzilla was fantastic. That was so good.
My favorite shot, like CGI shot, there's a scene where they're like transporting Kong and he's on a boat, as he often is. That's not a spoiler. And
that's in the trailer as well.
They have like a fight. They probably have this exact scene in the trailer, but there's the fight where Kong is in the background and he's like jumps onto the aircraft carrier, and then there's like a in the cockpit shot of the pilot, and he's trying to like take off while the ship is like tilted back.
Yeah,
and he's like taking off the aircraft carrier, and you see Kong in the background. It's just such a sick shot.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
and Godzilla in that movie. I mean, he's been beastly in the previous installments, but this one, he was like, damn.
Yeah.
He's pissed. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was everything I wanted it to be, which makes me happy. My only like bummer part was I watched it. I streamed it at home.
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to see it on the big screen, which is killing me having to watch some of these movies not on the big screen.
That one is made for the big screen.
Right.
You need like IMAX for that.
Yeah, it was so much fun. If you just need a couple hours of just pure entertainment, that's your movie. You don't even need like to watch the other installments for context. Really. It's simply like, oh no, here's Kong, here's Godzilla. They're gonna fight for 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
What else did you watch, Jake?
I finally saw Eurovision.
Okay. Yes. And so
you recommended that. I think it came up. I didn't hear about it at all, and then you said, I think we saw it in the Nickelodeon World War show one.
Yeah, because Will Ferrell was nominated for a Nickelodeon.
And you said it was amazing, and you were right. It
was so funny.
The music was really, really good.
Like, and that's the main song from Eurovision is actually nominated for Best Original Song for the Oscars. So
okay,
yeah.
That's good. We'll probably talk about that more then.
Pierce Brosnan plays his dad. It's just, it's so funny.
It is a really funny movie. I also watched. Have you heard of Greyhound?
I have, but I have not gotten a chance to watch it. But I've wanted to.
A Tom Hanks naval warfare movie. Generally, honestly, naval warfare movies don't do it for me. They're pretty like slow and boring. This Greyhound is incredible, though. Like, it was really intense, really exciting, seeing, like, the maneuvers and tactics and stuff of it. And this story, like, I think it's a true story of this crossing that he has to, like, do, he and these other allied ships. There's British ships and French ships and stuff. They, Canadian, I think. They all have to, like, escort this cargo across. And the way that he like have to maneuver and keep them all alive and pick up survivors, and it's really, really intense and interesting the whole time. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I've wanted to see it, just that's one that I haven't gotten around to watching.
Yeah.
Well, I watched a movie that is not intense. It is not serious. It's one of those movies that's right up there with like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
I've watched Nicolas Cage's Willy's Wonderland.
So did I.
Yes! Yes!
Before we started, you were like, I watched a really bad but awesome movie. And I was like, I did too, actually.
Yep.
Funny you mention it.
And I loved it. I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
You gotta watch this. I mean, if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, you know what you're
Yeah.
getting already.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk,
No.
which I thought
whole
was
time.
interesting.
Yeah. kept waiting for it. I was like, what's going to be his first line? What's going to be his first line?
Right.
And he doesn't say
And he doesn't say anything the whole time.
It's amazing.
It is 100% Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff,
Yeah.
but it works because it's like the B
Yeah.
movie version of it, and it just lets it be.
Yeah. I like got that from the trailer, but I was like, oh, maybe they use the animatronic like kids like restaurant as a thing. But no, they do a lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. Like,
it is straight
down
up
to
Five
taking
Nights.
the breaks, and yeah, it's exact pretty much without the trademarks.
Dude, I won't give away just in case someone wants to watch it. I'm sure it's one of those movies that we could spoil and it doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
I won't.
You should go see it. It's fun.
The bathroom fight scene
Yeah.
was my favorite part of that whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy that you watched Willy's as well.
Yeah. I saw it come out and I was like, I'm getting this right now.
Right. I did the same thing. So I was like, oh my God, it's here.
Yeah. Yeah. I was very excited for it.
Oh, it was so good. In such a horrible, horrible way.
Yeah. It's obviously like a B movie, pretty bad movie. Probably not for everybody, but if you don't mind bad movies that are entertaining, it's still entertaining. It's still fun.
Yeah, it's super entertaining. Check it out.
Yeah. And then the only other one I could think of that we haven't talked on the show, but we saw it right before you left, was Chaos Walking. We saw that saw it in the theater.
I thought you and I talked about that.
We talked about it like together, but we didn't talk about it on the podcast or like recommend it or not.
Oh. Right. So we saw Chaos Walking when
Yeah.
it came out.
Yeah, with
Almost a
Daisy
month
Ridley and Tom
Holland?
Yeah. I got there.
Yeah. So we've had plenty of time to think about it, and I know you and I both came out of the theater just kind of like, yeah, it was entertaining. It was weird. There's a lot of odd choices in it and all that. But we've both had plenty of time to think about it. Any new thoughts on it, or
Not especially. You had mentioned that it was, I guess, supposed to be or may still be a part of a series or a trilogy or something.
Yeah.
I am interested in that. I liked it. I think it would be interesting and cool to see. It wasn't as young adulty as I thought it might be.
right?
I think you mentioned or maybe compared it to Maze Runner. I like the Maze Runner movies also.
I did really like Maze Runner. Yeah, Chaos Walking. It's definitely an interesting concept.
Yeah,
It's one.
Very interesting and different kind of sci-fi.
Yeah. I would say I kind of hope that they at least get to make one more, simply just to maybe give context to a couple of the parts in Chaos Walking. Because I'm still fixated on one specific thing that is in the movie that shows up like twice and then is gone, but it seems to be a big deal those couple times that it's brought up.
Yeah, it's really the
I feel
only
like
thing
there
that's
needs to be
left
more.
out.
Yeah.
Like the actual end of the movie feels like the end. It feels like a complete story.
Right.
Yeah, there's that one part that's like mentioned and then nothing really comes of it, and then they could flesh that out for sure.
Yeah. But I would say that'll be a good one, like when it hits Netflix or whatever stream service it might show up on. It'll be a decent one to have just to check out.
Yeah.
See these
Yeah,
guys play different characters.
For sure. Okay. I think that's all.
I think that was it.
Do
The only
you
other
want-
movies recently that I watched were Oscars. So,
Yeah, exactly. So I tried to keep those off, except I forgot Eurovision was nominated.
but that's okay, Jake. That's okay.
Yeah. So,
Well, let's
we
get into this.
are talking about the 93rd Annual Academy Awards.
Which is great. 93 years they've been doing.
We're
these
almost at
freaking
100.
things. I know.
That's crazy.
I'm shocked that we're at 93 for one main reason.
Why is that?
Everyone generally seems to not give a shit about
Yeah.
these awards.
They seem to give less and less of a shit every time.
But they keep doing it, and it keeps being like a big event.
Yeah.
There's never any hint that their audience is dwindling. It's very it's interesting to me. I think this one will be. I'm very curious to actually watch this
Okay.
year's.
I was going to ask if you were going to really watch it or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna
'Cause
try.
I didn't watch the Golden Globes. I just kind
I
of
didn't
followed
watch that
along as
either,
far as
yeah.
posts.
But I think I might actually try to watch the Academy Awards this year just to kind of see how they go about it.
Yeah.
Just with everything from 2020, and
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot
I'm
of that.
still kind of shocked that we have as many entries as we do, considering like nothing came out last year. But
Yeah, and they tend to nominate more movies per category. There's obviously
Yeah.
it's all about movies, so a lot more in the Golden Globes.
right.
Who's hosting?
I have no idea.
I was trying to look at the. I'm on the Wikipedia page.
I was
and
going to say
actually
you're on the
don't see it.
Wikipedia.
Murphy, stop biting me. I know that Tyler Perry's getting a Gene Herschel Humanitarian Award,
Okay.
but that's about it. Murphy. Do I need to kick you out, Doc? Oh, wait. No, that's who's producing the show and who's directing this show. Steven Soderbergh is producing. I don't know, honestly. I could Google it.
Well, let's see here.
You Google it. I'm letting Murphy out. Murphy, stop biting. Any luck?
I'm still scrolling.
Oh.
Don't judge.
If you Google it, it'll be at the top.
Okay, but it gave me a
Oscar
name that I don't
2021.
recognize, so I'm fact checking it.
Host. Oh,
Fact
that's
checking.
probably less. You could just say you fact checked it.
It's true.
Hosted by actors Ariana DeBose and Lil Ray Howery.
Where did you see that?
Oh, no, this is the 90-minute Oscar spotlight. Just kidding.
Oh. It kind of looks like it's going to be hostless again, like they did last year.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Hosted by The Voice.
Hosted by random people.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. Yeah, I guess they have people presenting categories and they're basically the hosts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Well, that's fine. I didn't really care anyway.
Yep. Their jokes typically suck anyways.
Yeah. I like when Ricky Gervais hosts it because he just shits on everybody. He's pretty funny. But I understand why they don't keep asking him back.
I think he's been banned from like hosting duties now.
Probably.
Probably.
He hosted more than once, and that's probably more than...
They're probably like, why do we keep doing this to ourselves?
Yeah.
Well, what category should we...
So I was going to go bottom to top. We'll end,
Okay.
obviously, with Best Picture. So let's start with Best Visual Effects, which there are a couple... There's at least one movie in here that I wanted to watch and didn't get around to, which is Love and Monsters.
I saw that one. Oh, yeah. I saw that one.
Yeah, you said it was really good. I tried
It
to get
is
Krista
really
to watch
good.
it, but she wanted to watch Eurovision instead.
That's fair. Yeah, Love and Monsters is great. And yes, the visual effects in that movie are awesome. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, creature design in that movie is fantastic, very entertaining. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. The Midnight Sky, did you end up seeing that?
I did not, no.
I saw it. It was pretty interesting and cool movie. I liked it quite a bit. I wouldn't say anything like groundbreaking as far as visual effects, though. I mean, it was cool and it was interesting. It looked good. There was interesting new space stuff on the space chaos.
Yeah.
They did some interesting new things, but not really from a visual effects standpoint. Mulan, obviously.
I have yet to watch it. It's sitting over near my TV.
That's what you said last time we talked about
I know, and it's still sitting there. Just haven't watched it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep.
It's cool. It's what you would expect, pretty much.
From a Disney remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wide sweeping vistas, probably mostly CG. The one and only Ivan, which I have not heard of.
I have no clue what that is.
And then Tenet.
So, if anyone's been listening to our show, obviously we're going to go Tenet gets our vote for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although, it's an interesting nomination because he didn't use, like, CGI.
It's visual effects.
Yeah.
Practical visual effects.
So I genuinely do think just because they didn't use the CGI, they actually had to rehearse the visual effects to pull it off. I kind of feel the work, like there was an added effort to that.
Yeah. And it's not a lot of movies that have rammed an airplane into a building.
Right. Or
actually done it.
Crashed a car going in reverse and
yeah, there's a lot of insane, especially new visual effects in that sense where half the movie's in reverse. I feel like even if I wasn't a Christopher Nolan fan, just because I'm such a huge fan of practical effects, that would get my vote.
Yep.
Apparently the one and only Ivan is a Disney movie that has a bunch of animals in it, and it has Sam Rockwell, Angelina Jolie, Danny DeVito, Helen Mirren, and Bryan Cranston in it.
What?
So it looks like a family movie, basically, which is a terrible American fantasy.
So it's a Disney movie that did not get nominated for Best Animated Feature, so they gave it Best Visual nomination. Okay.
Must be. Probably because there were, I think, 2 other Pixar ones.
Yeah, Disney's like trying to get its little Mickey claws into everything.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, I think that's best visual effects. Tenet, obviously.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to see Tenet. Best film editing.
Okay.
So, The Father, Yorgos Lanthimos.
Which I did not get around to watching The Father. Did you?
I did.
I did.
I don't know if I need to talk about it right now, but it's good.
Okay.
So the weird thing for me about the Oscars...
I don't need to talk about it right now, but...
I was just going to mention in general about the Oscars, a lot of the movies don't generally appeal to me. Like, I like all movies. Like, don't get me wrong. But the movies I watch the most and gravitate to the most don't tend to be the very dramatic, like, socially important kind of movies. It's tearjerkers, that kind of thing. And a lot of the Oscar movies are that kind of thing. They're what's the most, like, dramatic that year kind of thing. So I was nervous about several of them that I was going to watch. There was some that I was excited to watch. The Father was one I was very interested in watching, and it lived up to, like, my expectation. It was really interesting, really different. Kind of like how we said, this is getting ahead of ourselves, but kind of how we said Sound of Metal is, like, something that we haven't ever seen represented in that way before.
Right.
The Father is exactly that also, where I've never seen a movie represent an old man who's entering dementia and dealing with dementia in this way. It's intense and, like, interesting.
Cool.
So The Father is really good. As far as editing, I don't know. We'll see how it ends up. Nomadland.
Nomadland.
Did you see that?
I did. I did watch
Okay.
Nomadland.
I didn't get to it, so you can share your opinion about it, or at least it's bad at the editing, at least.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't get my vote for editing.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'll talk more about it when we get farther down the line, when we
Yeah.
get to its big categories.
Yeah, I'm interested when we get there to hear specifically if you feel like Golden Globe should have gone to it for Best Picture. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Promising Young Woman, which I know you did watch. You talked
I
about it a
did.
little
Did
bit.
you watch it? Did you
I-
actually get to it?
No, so a while ago I had started it, and then I had stopped it, and I said, I don't really want to watch this. I want to watch something else, Palm Springs. And then I was going to get to it, because I really did want to get to it. I've seen like a lot, I've seen clips about it. I've seen people talking about it. I got more interested in it when they said that the director who did it is going to write the Zatanna movie, because I like Zatanna, and I was interested if that would make it worse or better. So I'm interested in it. I have, based on the little bit I know about it, I have opinions just for that reason about whether I feel like it's good or valuable or whatever. But yeah, I can't talk too much about it, I guess.
I didn't really feel like it did anything super special with the editing.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure why I get this one being nominated for that.
Sound of Metal probably makes sense for Best Film Editing, though.
Yeah. This one genuinely... Yeah, I get it.
Both film editing and sound editing, or sound design, whatever they call it. I feel like Sound of Metal is so strong there.
Yeah. It's Sound of Metal, to me, is... Oh, God. People, go watch this movie. Just do it.
Yeah,
Just do it.
It sticks with you after you see it. You think about it more, and like I said, it's a very interesting perspective or way to show people what it's like to experience losing your hearing like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen that represented in a movie that way before.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
And then The Trial of the Chicago 7 is the last category, or last entry in the Best Film Editing category.
Yeah, this one kind of makes sense why it would be nominated, because they do a lot of, like, during the court, it'll do flashback sequences to kind of show you different perspectives from, like, the prosecutors and from the defendants. So that one kind of makes sense to me why it would get nominated.
Using the editing to tell the story, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sound
What's
of
your
Metal
choice?
gets my vote on that one, just because of
Yeah.
how it's edited together to show not only him having to cope with, being forced to cope with losing his hearing, but also like his addiction, how they cut and edit between the performance scenes, his addictions, his loss of hearing. I just feel everything about Sound of Metal it meshed the best out of like everything that I watched. So
Yeah. I agree. I really liked that, and how he kind of changes from losing his hearing,
Right.
and then tries to decide if he can or wants to go back to this other life with this girl that he loves, and he loves being in a band, and really interesting. The more I think about it, the father had really interesting film editing.
Okay.
As it kind of, you kind of lose track of time. You don't really know how because it's an old man. It's Anthony Hopkins. He's old, and he is trying to determine if he has dementia or what's going on, because he's old.
Right.
And so he may or may not, he like kind of doesn't recognize his own daughter when she comes to visit him. She's somebody else. Time is weird. He doesn't know. He's like, she's married, then she's not married. So his perception of time, which is kind of a weird thing, or as a human race, our perception of time, we kind of take for granted how we perceive the world, and time's one of those things, and memories are one of those things. And I think that the way they represent that and express it through the editing, very interestingly.
Oh.
So I would say The Father or Sound of Metal, I'd be good with either of those.
All right. Best costume.
Yeah. They always like to do the old period pieces. If you have really big,
Yeah.
fat, fluffy dresses,
You're getting nominated.
Yeah.
If it's Victorian, you're getting nominated.
Yeah. So it's not a surprise Emma's in that list. Emma is a movie I think I mentioned on the podcast before. We started watching it. I love the Gwyneth Paltrow one. I love Anya Taylor-Joy, but I didn't care for that version of the story. I didn't connect to it for some reason.
I remember you and Christy both felt that way, where it just didn't quite grab you.
Yeah.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I did watch this one.
Okay.
The costumes are pretty cool. It is a period piece. It's 1920s Chicago. In fact, actually, a piece of costuming is central to a character's story. It kind of kicks off this whole character. So that, with knowing that, that's really interesting to me for a costume decision of making that actually not just something they're wearing, but it's a part of the character and how they're introduced. So Ma Rainey it's an interesting movie. We'll get more into it later down the road, but
yeah, that's interesting. I really like that period. I like 1920s to Chicago. We talked about it in the gangster episode. Very cool outfits. Mank.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember the costumes in Mank. I mean, they're very classic 40s LA suits and not terribly, I guess, interesting.
Nothing like too new to me. It definitely does. I don't know if it's the costuming. Well, the movie itself definitely makes you feel kind of put into that time period and kind of. Yeah. But I don't know if it's just the costuming or if that's more of like the cherry on top of that whole thing. But
yeah, it's kind of a weird thing because I feel like if the costuming was wrong or not accurate, it would stand out and ruin it. But every detail is so accurate that you also kind of don't really notice the costume.
I think the costuming is better on like Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
And all the female characters of the movie, I think that's where the costuming really shines. Because all the guys just wear like suits the whole time. So
and sometimes they have a hat. That's it.
Yeah.
And they're all the same hat. Yeah.
Mulan. I mean, judging from the poster, her costume looks pretty cool.
Yeah, very
I can't really
colorful, very cultural. This is cool for sure.
All right.
Pinocchio, which I didn't see.
So
it was live action too, right?
Dude, I didn't see it. I don't know. I think it was. I think it was with that the dude from Life is Beautiful way back in the late 90s.
Life is Beautiful.
Do you remember that movie? Roberto Benigni.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wasn't there... I was thinking of a different Pinocchio movie. Wasn't what's his face supposed to do one?
Well, Disney's going to be remaking Pinocchio soon too.
As well,
Disney? I should say. No.
Oh, is that the one that
Tom Hanks is going to be in?
No,
because Tom Hanks is supposed to play Geppetto.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Who's the guy that did all those? He's like a big fantasy director. Did he do Pan's Labyrinth? Who did Pan's Labyrinth?
Guillermo del Toro?
Guillermo del Toro. I thought he was supposed to do a Pinocchio.
I think he does too. Which,
okay.
I mean,
maybe there's a third Pinocchio somewhere.
Pinocchio was all right. I don't think it warrants as many versions as that have been made of it. But
yeah, it's one of those like classic fairy tale stories that they'll never let go and stop.
Right.
It's in the public domain.
Well, which one would take your costume vote?
That's a really good question. Probably Mulan. I would guess.
Well, you said
Out
the
of this list
costuming's
for me,
like, you said it was really cultural.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
it's China, turn of the, I don't
Excuse
remember
me.
if it was turn of the century, olden times China.
Right.
And, yeah,
Olden
very like,
times China.
I don't know when it takes place. Sometime between like medievalish and nowish. But it's very like, yeah, colorful, flowy,
Okay.
like not as intense as like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon or something like that, but very, so like, kind of similar.
Yeah. You know, as much as I liked the costuming choice for one of the characters in Ma Rainey, I think I'm going to side with you on Mulan, just because I know with that kind of costuming, there's a lot more to it because it has to be cultural and you have to be respectful
Yeah.
of all that. So I kind of feel Mulan will take it on that basis, but also more deservingly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. And also kind of, I know with like war films, costuming is a big deal because you have to like have so many, just like from like a scale perspective.
Right.
Even though the men's outfits are generally not that interesting, they do have to like outfit all these different people. So
Right.
that's impressive.
Right.
Even though I'm sure a lot of them were CG, they just copy and paste and make an army. But we're not talking
Control
about
V.
effects.
Control V.
Yeah, exactly. But best makeup and hairstyling, Emma
Okay.
also.
Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah, which I haven't seen. Christy had me get for her because she really was interested in it. Did you see it?
No.
Okay.
No.
It looks really interesting, though. I like the actresses in it, at least.
Yeah. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Mm-hmm. The makeup,
Mink.
actually, you know what? The
yeah.
makeup is really interesting. I had to look up the actual events of the movies, so like the real Ma Rainey.
Historical.
Yeah. And they made Viola Davis look pretty close to her. They hit some very subtle details in the makeuping. Sure. The makeup process on her.
You can make makeup being a word.
Right. We're doing it. Yeah, it was. It's kind of weird not seeing a nominee where an actor or actress really had to go through like a huge transformation. I think that's what's taking me off guard right here.
Yeah, there's not really that, which is interesting. I was actually going to bring up that exact point for Mank because I know that Gary Oldman wanted to kind of do that, to have all the prosthetics to make him look like the actual historical Mankiewicz.
Right.
And Fincher told him, no, just like looking like yourself. I want a personal, like facial reactions and flexibility and all the stuff you don't get with prosthetics generally. So yeah, even in Mank, everybody's not terribly made up as far as makeup and hairstyling.
It's all in black and white. And they didn't do it Pleasantville style where it was they actually did makeup to get the black and white. This was just no, we're filming it in black and white.
Yeah. I guess like the again hairstyle on the ladies, like Amanda Seyfried and everybody else, they had like the kind of the older style Hollywood hair, and it was good hairstyling for sure.
Yeah.
If you're into that sort of thing. And then Pinocchio,
which I'm trying to look.
I haven't seen a picture of this Pinocchio, but I could kind of imagine in my head.
Well, if the kid that played Pinocchio had to go through like a prosthetic process,
yeah,
then that would make more sense to me. Unless he was just CGI'd, and then that's cheating.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Oh, this says it's 2019. Let me see here. Nope, not videos. Yeah, he looks... I don't know. It's hard to tell if that's CGI or makeup.
Right.
If that's not CGI, then that's really good makeup. Because he does have that like wooden look on his face, textured. Maybe it's a combination of CGI and makeup, but I'm gonna guess Pinocchio on that one.
Well, I'm looking at some. Oh, that looks like makeup. Oh,
Yeah.
that's totally makeup, dude.
Okay, I believe you.
Well, just based on that, yeah. I'm totally voting Pinocchio for this. Just looking at a handful of the stills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Big like fantasy movies like that, I think, have a higher potential
Yep.
for this category for sure.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say Pinocchio just after looking at some of the stills.
Cool.
Yeah.
Best cinematography.
All right. Now this one, I'm going to compliment a movie I did not expect to compliment. So.
Okay, interesting. Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you
That's
watch
not the
that one?
one?
No, that's
I
not the
did.
one. Okay.
I did. I was just waiting to see what you had to say about it.
Well, I had seen it way before you did.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you talked about it in the Golden Globe one, and I had nothing to contribute in that episode about it.
And now you're going to when we get to the bigger categories. Look at
Yeah.
you.
I know. I tried. I did try a little bit. I'm trying to remember cinematography wise, though. It was. I mean, it was good. It was solid. I liked it. I just wasn't like compared to some of the other ones, which I'm getting ahead of myself. But compared
Yeah,
to some
you
of the
are.
other ones, it didn't show me anything I
Didn't.
was terribly didn't expect. I mean, it is
Oh, okay.
basically what I expected,
Right.
which isn't bad. But it's if I'm comparing things, comparing very different things.
You're
which is
jumping
unfair.
way ahead of yourself,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. So Mank.
Which cinematography in Mank was.
Yeah.
It is really good. It's very interesting how it was all set up and kind of filmed. But
Yeah, I would say the cinematography is integral. I mean, you're watching a movie; they're all integral. This is a dumb thing to say. Every movie's cinematography is integral too. But the way that Mank is done, and the way that it connects to Citizen Kane, and the way that it constantly reminds you that you're watching a movie, the cinematography does that, and it's interesting. Mm-hmm. I liked Mank a lot.
yeah.
News of the World. Did you see that?
No.
I did.
I know you did. I've been waiting to hear about it. Now, don't get too ahead of yourself because we got to.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it nominated
Several
for
more categories. Yeah.
Or is this
well,
it?
at least the next one. Production design it is. Best sound it is.
Okay.
I don't know about
Score.
picture-wise.
But I don't think it's a
Oh.
big one, is it?
I'm scrolling through a bunch of other stuff.
It's not in any of the big ones.
Okay. Then we can, I guess, spill the beans a little bit around here.
Yeah.
News of the World was good. News of the World was pretty interesting, actually. It's a Western, essentially, and from a cinematography perspective, yeah, there were interesting things in it. There was a big, Dust Bowl scene that was interesting. I like Tom Hanks movies. I like everything with Tom Hanks in it pretty much. And him as this guy who just travels around to different towns reading newspapers to people so that they can hear what's going on in the world was interesting. I hadn't really seen anything like that before. And then it comes across this girl who was really young, and she was being transported back to her family because her birth family had died. But then she was captured and basically raised by Native Americans, so she speaks Native American and barely speaks English or doesn't speak English. And then Tom Hanks kind of stumbles along her and ends up deciding to take her with him and take her to her family, who's still alive, who she's never met, which kind of sucks. But it's a really cute kind of movie as they kind of bond together and everything. So the idea is good, the story was good, performances were good. Cinematography was solid. Nothing to complain about. Best cinematography ever. Best cinematography of the year. Probably not. Nomadland?
Yeah.
Oh, is this one you're going to praise?
Yeah.
Okay.
The cinematography in Nomadland was really good. It's very interesting. It's very, I mean, they set it up in a very not entertaining way, but it's done in a way to make you feel kind of the situation that the main character is in. The cinematography, when I watched it, I remember being like, this was one of two things that I had a lot of good things to come out of Nomadland. Spoiler,
Okay.
I was not a big fan of Nomadland.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But the cinematography was, I noticed it more to the point where it made me actually like kind of comment on it as I was watching it. So great cinematography in Nomadland.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I might watch it just for that. And then the trial is the Chicago 7, which I did not watch. But
Which I saw when they first released it. I have not watched it since because I haven't had any desire to.
Yeah, that's kind of how, spoiler if you haven't listened to the Golden Globes episode, but the more we talked about it, the more you were like, well, I didn't really love it.
Right. I don't know. The cinematography on trial felt like the exact same kind of cinematography that we saw in every other movie that took place in a period of time in Chicago. It didn't feel anything different at all.
Yeah.
So, Nomadland gets my vote on that one.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
This is tough. of the three I've seen, I'm probably gonna go with Mank. I really like. I mean, I'm a sucker for black and white,
Right.
especially old, like the way that it captured that period and style, and not just making movies, but also watching a movie about making movies. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And it will be very interesting to see if it gets any Oscar nominations, because it didn't get any Golden Globes despite being nominated for the most awards, which we kind of called.
Right.
We had said, like, we probably won't actually get any awards. All right. Best production design.
This one's so easy to me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Father.
But we have to go down the list.
We do. So we'll start. The Father, which I didn't see.
Yeah.
You gave it some pretty good praise.
Yeah. But as far as production design, a lot of it is in an apartment. I mean, it's based on a play, so it's kind of very much a play-esque kind of thing. There's not tons of sets, tons of scenes, tons of different things that happen. Pretty simple production design there. Important. I mean, there's important elements for sure as a way of telling the story. And yeah, it's very interesting. I think the set is integral to the story, and it does a good job, but it's just limited in its potential, I guess, for this category.
Okay.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yeah, I mean, when you make a period movie, especially like a time period that people know pretty well, you see one image from like the 20s, you should know immediately where it's coming from. It does a very good job of doing that. I did not realize that it was based on a real woman and her band, the Mother of Blues, as she's titled. Nor did I think that or realize that it was like a period movie. And then as soon as it kicked in, I was like, oh, I know exactly where we are and I know what's going to be going on. And I really like that. This was also based on a play. And you can tell, like, I would love to watch it as a stage play. I actually almost feel it would work better on the stage than in film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But you could definitely get that feel to it. So, I mean, the production design is really good in it.
Okay. That's really interesting. Yeah. Mank, obviously.
Which Mank deserves this nomination. I mean, the whole
period.
The period, the making you feel like, I mean, it flows just like Citizen Kane, which I'm not a big fan of Citizen Kane, but watching this movie, has kind of made me debate if I want to rewatch it again. I haven't yet.
I feel like you do gain an appreciation for it in a different context or more context.
Which I kind of, or which is what's like scratching that surface of, do we rewatch it now that I have some context to that movie? But Mank deserves the nomination. It was really cool how everything was set up.
Yeah, and kind of same thing we said with costumes and makeup. It was spot on, perfect as far as production design goes. If anything was off, it wouldn't have worked as well.
Right.
News of the World, which also, I mean, had pretty phenomenal production design. As a Western, you have like you have these small towns and everything's old and wood and it's on the frontier. Like they go to these like people's houses that they live in and they're obviously like cabins that had to be hand built kind of thing. Traveling in a wagon with horses and it's all like desolate prairie and all that stuff. So yeah, it was very, very good and very solid as far as reproducing that for the film for sure.
And Tenet.
And Tenet.
Of all the movies that I saw last year and the beginning of this year, the production design specifically, to me, Tenet just blows everyone else out of the water. Everything about this movie just... Tenet gets my vote. I don't...
100%. I mean, you can't compete with it. It's so massive. Scale is massive. Like, sets are massive. Like, everything that happens, everything that needs to be controlled and coordinated and set up to tell the story and do the action pieces and everything. It's incredible.
It is. So, Tenet, 100%. It probably won't get it because Hollywood's, like, pissed off at...
Because the Oscars are lame.
But, yeah.
Are they?
I don't know. Oh. I just assumed because he's always like, I'm not using CGI. Screw you guys. I'm going to make the movie I want to make.
Yeah. Okay. Best sound.
Best sound.
Greyhound.
Okay.
Which I did see. I didn't know that it was nominated for anything, so that's kind of cool. Sound was pivotal, obviously, to that movie.
Right. Well, that's whenever there's like a war film, sound in war films, I mean, it has to be perfect. It just does.
Yeah. And it's pacing, which sound is a big part of keeping your attention and keeping your adrenaline up and everything. The sound contributed to its franticness so well. So yeah, very strong sound in Greyhound.
Mank?
Which I don't really remember anything that stood out about the sound.
Yeah, I mean, they walk around a lot.
Yeah, it's mostly conversation. They walk around. They get in and out of a couple of cars.
So a lot of Foley work with
like noise.
Walking on the ground or walking on dirt.
And there's a guy doing typewriter noises.
That's right.
That's about it.
News of the World.
Yeah. They had obviously all of the wagon stuff going on and horses and guns and those look like dust storms. I mean, sound was good. It met my expectations. There wasn't anything different really though about it.
Soul.
Soul is interesting. Did you watch Soul?
I did.
Okay, I did too.
Yeah, we'll get to it in a little bit. I think the sound is actually really well done in this movie. Mainly because of circumstance. So they had to finish Soul in quarantine. This is another movie where it wasn't finished when everything got shut down. So having to finish all the sound at these, like, everyone a part of the production, having to do it at their homes and stuff, I think that gives it some credit. And the usage of, like, when they're walking around in the city and all the sounds of the city, I think the sound and soul was actually really well done.
Yeah. I think that it's kind of interesting and weird to have an animated movie amongst all these live action movies.
Yeah.
For me, I kind of assume that if you were to make a live action movie in a city, you could just pick up some of that city noise. In an animated movie, obviously the characters aren't really there, so you have to create every sound from scratch.
Yeah.
Like, there's not just like ambient noise or normal noise, or you can't just mic that person doing that thing and get the sound. You have to create every noise for every action.
Everything. And I mean, all the sounds from the city it was impeccable. It really was. I mean,
yeah,
very
for
well.
sure.
Sound of Metal.
Yeah. Which,
this one takes a cake for me. It just does.
Yeah. As much as I was about to say it has to be soul, Sound of Metal is, because it did everything that we said, it just changed your perception of sound as a thing and how it affects people and how you hear it and how you need it and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, sound is essentially a character in this movie. This movie takes my vote 100%.
Yeah, it's entirely about how important that sense is.
Yeah. Best original song. Did you listen to any of these besides the one from Eurovision?
I mean, the ones that I saw the movies of, which is only 2. I could have listened to the songs. I didn't even think of that.
I didn't even think of it either. I don't really care about this category mainly because I haven't listened to any of it.
Yeah.
But the Eurovision song will take my vote because it just comes out of left field. To be that effective and beautiful of a song in a Will Ferrell satire.
Yeah.
It has no business being that good, but wow, is it that good?
Yeah, it really is that good. Like, it blew me away, and I kept like thinking about it, kept hearing it, kept singing it.
Right. Now,
it's really...
I also got to give it credit because, like, I follow a lot of like musicians, primarily like hard rock and heavy metal musicians, and when this movie came out, a good chunk of them were posting about that song and being like,
okay,
why is this song so good? Like, okay, you're getting this whole genre that is not known for enjoying this kind of thing to be coming out publicly and being like, you got to hear this song.
Yeah.
Like, professional musicians were praising it.
Yeah.
So that song takes my vote.
Yeah.
One, because it's the only one that I listen to. And
it didn't seem like just like a song that you slap together for a movie, like a movie. For a movie song, I think there's a lower bar for a movie song than there is for like a song where it needs to stand on its own.
Yeah.
And this song just felt so well created, well put together.
It has no business being that good, but it is that good.
In such a silly movie. It's true. And the performances of it, the singing of it, I was very impressed by.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just gonna vote for that one. I don't really,
me
like
too.
you said, care about the rest.
Had I heard other songs, I might care, but I don't this time around. Best original score.
Okay, Da Five Bloods.
I didn't see.
Da Five Bloods. I never heard of it till just now.
All right.
I didn't know it came out.
Mank.
Which was good.
I remember it being
just,
like kind of a simple score.
Yeah.
But that works in that kind of movie.
Yeah. It's a period score, kind of. Minari.
I didn't see that one.
It's the one I wanted to watch the most that I didn't get around
and then you didn't watch it.
I just didn't have the time, but it was next on my list after The Father.
All right.
Because I really, really did want to watch it. I think the
Yeah.
story is interesting. I like the actors and everything. But no, I didn't get around to seeing it. News of the World, which I do like James Newton Howard's stuff generally,
Right.
from the stuff I can remember. And then the music in News of the World was good. It was a good. Trying to think about it, there was a good, I guess, variety. There's like intense actiony scenes. There's like peaceful, sad scenes, and just like traveling scenes. So yeah, it was a good soundtrack.
Soul.
And Soul, yeah,
Yeah, the score in Soul was one of the things that really stood out for me in that movie.
for sure.
I think it's funny that Trent Reznor
Yeah,
has been not. I mean, I think this is like his 4th or 5th Oscar nomination for original score.
it's his second one this year because he also did Mank. Both him and Atticus
Right.
Ross.
So he's got
did
2 this year. So maybe
And
it's
Soul.
like number 5 or 6, actually.
Yeah,
I think it's just crazy how good of a composer he
Yeah.
is when it comes to films. I've never been a big Nine Inch Nails fan, but I love his like the music that he does for movies. I love
Yeah.
what he does.
yeah, he's really good at it.
Soul takes that one just because music is such a pivotal
Yeah.
component of that movie. So
Right. Yeah, the main character is passionate about jazz music, and that comes across. That whole thing comes across, and then also the Pixar movies always have great music in them.
yeah. Okay, so the next 5.
Several choices. This is the desert of the show.
Let's just. I didn't watch any of them. Did you?
I don't know. I haven't read through them.
Oh God. Well, read
Probably
through them
not.
real quick. I'm doubting you did.
I doubt I did too. I haven't watched. First of all, it's hard to know where to find like short
Right.
films and documentary films. I mean,
Unless
I see
they're on
some- I see
Wandering
a-
Lions Film Fest.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only kind I care about. I see documentaries often enough, but I don't think I've seen any of these.
Okay.
Same with international movies. I don't really watch, unless it's one that like you've heard a lot about, like some South Korean movies or something.
Right. Which
So yeah,
I didn't see any of these. I have no opinion
I don't
on
have
any of
anything
them.
But you could gamble and just guess which one you think's gonna win based on the name and the people attached to it, or we can just skip it. Honestly don't care either way.
I'm gonna vote that we just skip it because I feel
Okay.
you and I will just get kind of tripped up on some of it.
Probably it would be probably boring to listen to. So
Right.
for you, our listeners, we're not going to talk about best animated short film, best live action short film, best documentary short subject, best documentary feature, best international feature. Stop me when we get to one that we care about. Best animated feature. Oh, we will probably want to talk about that one.
Yeah, we wanted to do best animated.
Okay, so we'll skip all the way up to best animated feature film. Onward.
Yep. Which
I
did you
haven't
watch
seen yet.
Onward?
Nah.
No. It was really good. It was not as emotionally driven as I had originally expected, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Okay. Over the Moon.
Which I also saw. It was yeah, it was pretty good. There was only one part in it that kind of lost me, but it wasn't enough to like ruin the movie for me. I thought Over the Moon was still pretty good.
What's it about? I never heard of it.
So it's about this young girl who her mom passes away, and they're like it's very cultural. So there's a lot in it that I would want to do research on just to kind of learn more about
Which culture?
Chinese, like the
Okay.
moon goddess. That is a pivotal thing in the movie. But this daughter is on a mission to find and meet this goddess to like talk to her and kind of come to terms with her dad moving on and trying to find a stepmom and life in general and coming to terms with growing up. It's a good movie. There's one part in it that I'm like, I don't like that part. But the rest of it was good.
Sounds like it would be pretty cute, probably.
It has some very cute scenes in it. Very cute, yeah.
Okay. A Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon. Did you see that?
I didn't see that one.
Isn't Shaun the Sheep the same like
Wallace and
claymation
Gromit
style as Wallace?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that
I
that?
think so.
Okay. I think I remember the first.
That's the only
Shaun the Sheep movie.
sheep animated thing that I think comes to mind. So
it's probably that. Soul, which we both saw.
Which we did, I loved it. I really did.
Yeah.
For the longest time during it, though, I was like, "Oh, this isn't that emotional or dramatic."
Yeah.
And then I'm telling you, people, if you haven't seen it, this is not a spoiler, but this is such a Pixar thing to do.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, it's cute, and this is like, they're silly things, and then out of left field, you get sucker punched in the feels, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm wrecked for the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the same way. I was watching it. I was like, this is going to be so emotional and like sad. And then it wasn't for the longest time. I was like, this is pretty fun. This is pretty nice. Tina
Right.
Fey's really funny. And yeah, and then it kind of gets to that moment. And you're like, oh, okay, there it is.
Right. Like, oh, screw you,
Yeah.
Pixar.
Yeah. It wasn't like Up where it was like right at the beginning.
Yeah. Or like, it definitely, it's a sneaky one. It really is.
Yeah. And then Wolfwalkers.
Did you watch Wolfwalkers? I remember you were
No.
really excited. You were like...
After the last episode when we talked about it, I forgot about it entirely.
Oh, okay.
Until I just read it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a cool title. The same thing I said last time.
Yeah.
It still is a cool title.
Well, Soul is going to take my vote on that one.
Yeah, I'm sure
It just-
I mean, I know Onward was also a Pixar movie, but Soul is like the most.
But Soul really hits deep. I mean, that movie, I was expecting it,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't come for the longest time, and then you just get pummeled.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Best adapted screenplay.
Right.
Borat. Subsequent movie film, which is interesting. I guess adapted from the TV show.
Well,
based on
it's
the
just
character.
based on the character by Baron Cohen.
I wouldn't. I mean, me, I don't think that qualifies as adapted.
I don't think it does
just because
either.
you're using a character that previously existed.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the new content or like the new rule, then every sequel will get nominated for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, I don't get that one.
Yeah. The Father, obviously based on the play. That one's really good.
Nomadland, based on a book.
One Night in Miami, based on his play, the same guy's play, who wrote the screenplay.
And The White Tiger, is based on a novel.
What even is the White Tiger? I'm looking at the Wikipedia page now. All right.
Okay. Well, I did not read any of the original materials.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have a real vote in this one, man.
I'm trying to think of it from a best screenplay perspective.
Okay.
Like which of these has the best screenplay, and these are all the ones that were adapted versus original, which is probably what they're going for. So the best screenplay or best story as written.
Well, both of us only saw 2 of these.
That's true. The father's screenplay is much better than Borat's screenplay. I'll tell you that much.
I'm gonna vote the father because I thought Nomadland.
Just despite Nomadland.
No, this will come off mean. I don't care. I actually don't think Nomadland has a lot of substance.
Okay. Interesting.
At no point in the movie did I actually connect with any of the characters in the movie.
Hot take.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well,
I'm going to vote the father.
Yeah. You will connect to all the characters in the father. So
there
that's
it
a
is.
safe bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Best original screenplay.
So this one's going to be an easy one.
Yeah. Judas and the Black Messiah.
Which, yeah, it's a very intense story. It's a real story. They tried to keep it as historically accurate as possible. So I definitely respect them and the screenplay a lot for that. I thought that was really
me too.
good.
I agree. Minari,
which neither of us saw.
It's also historical, at least to some extent. Promising Young Woman, written by Emerald Fennell.
Now, I know you want me to give like my full opinion on this.
No, you're not gonna do it yet, huh?
No, I feel like I'll wait till the big category. Okay. Yeah.
From a screenplay perspective, how do you feel?
I feel there are some very, very well written parts. There are some very awesome things in the movie. Well, I told you this. I'll say it now, I guess. My problem with Promising Young Woman was it never knows what genre it's actually trying to be. It's just a weird mix of thriller, crime, drama, comedy, and it never quite, to me, it just never quite figures out how to actually put all that together. Yeah. And that was a big, that bummed me out a lot in this movie. Yeah. Especially, I can't go into it just because I'm not going to give the movie away, but there was one specific part in the movie that happens that I was like, wait, what? And I'll tell you about it after you see it that way, because I feel like you will have the exact same response that I did. Yeah. Which is why I was hoping that you had seen it, but
I know I told you I would, so we could talk about it.
I know, and I was so excited.
It was on my list after Minari. I was like, I want to watch Minari more, and I still didn't get to that.
That's fair.
Sound of Metal, though. Yes. I agree. I think it's probably going to be definitely going to be best screenplay. In my opinion.
It's the best written movie. Just out of all these, it's so good.
In several ways, like the character, the main character, and all the other characters have that kind of support him, are interesting, and his growth and change and how he has to adapt, and how he is pursuing something that he thinks he wants, and then kind of gets it and has to like decide if he actually wants to continue that or not, or just go back. And that just so interesting there. And then the overall story and the way it's told. I love Sound of Metal. Yeah. And then Trial of the Chicago 7. Which
it's like you said earlier, the more I think about that movie, the less of a fan of it I am. Which sucks, because the cast in it is awesome. Mm-hmm. I
said the cast would probably be the main reason I would be interested in watching it. Okay, so we'll both vote for Sound of Metal, sounds like.
Sound of Metal is just, I'm telling you, people,
Yeah.
It is unreal how good of a movie that is.
Yeah, it really is. Best supporting actress. So we're getting up to some serious categories.
Yeah,
now.
we're into the big categories now.
Yeah. Best supporting actress Maria Bakalova, Borat's subsequent movie film.
Which she does a great job. I mean, the movie
Yeah.
ends up having to focus solely on her.
She has to carry it,
Just
pretty
because
much.
everyone knows the character of Borat. I think for this being her very first time acting in a film, acting in an American film, and that style, I think she does a great job just having to maintain
Yeah.
the character as they're pulling the stunts and the jokes. So I
Yeah,
think
and
she
it
does a
never
great
feels-
job. It's
It never really feels uneven, or she never really slips in and out of the accents or anything.
yeah,
does
she
a really good
maintains
job of
that
maintaining-
character really, really well.
Yeah.
So and it's a comedic role, which is rare that you get
Yeah.
comedic nominations. So
That's true. No, yeah, not common in the Oscars. Glenn Close, Hillbilly Elegy.
which I didn't see.
I haven't seen it either, but it's been a long time since I've seen Glenn Close in a movie.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see it just for that reason. Because
It was on my list to try and get watched before recording, but
Yeah.
then I didn't. I watched Willy's Wonderland instead. And
You should have. I'm glad you have your priorities straight.
you know me. I love my B movies. They're so much fun.
Yeah, and horror. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Olivia Colman, The Father.
Which I haven't seen, but I'm assuming because she's really good that she's
Yeah.
really, really good.
She is really good. She's the daughter of Anthony Hopkins, who has dementia, and she's trying to take care of him. Yeah, she's really good. Prob might be my vote. Although, Amanda Seyfried, I mentioned I used to really not like her at all.
Right.
But after seeing her in Mank, I'm like, how did this happen? How do I all of a sudden love you? At least I love you in this. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know why exactly. I can't really put it into words, but yeah, in Mank, she's amazing.
Well, and that was a big thing for me when I saw that she was nominated, because immediately I thought about you saying that, of like, I never was a fan, and then I watched her in this, and I'm like, am I becoming a fan?
Yeah, it might be her first Oscar nomination.
I think it is.
No,
I think it is.
I was gonna go look at her awards. A lot of MTV Movie Awards nominations and wins, so that's good. Oh wait, this is 2021. So yeah, she hasn't been nominated for Oscar or Golden Globe, just things like Teen Choice Awards and stuff. So yeah, big year for Amanda Seyfried. Good for her.
Yeah.
Um,
Are we both hesitating on the pronunciation because we're both
I
not
had to go
good at it?
back because I was looking at Amanda Seyfried's Wikipedia page and
Oh,
I had to go back
yeah.
and then scroll back down. But
He's
now I
lying,
see why
folks.
you weren't.
He's lying, folks. He was hesitating. He was
That's exactly
hesitating.
what happened. And then I got back to my spot and I realized why you were not jumping on that. I'll fall on that grenade. Yoon Jung. Oh wait, hold on. There's probably a pronunciation thing on the Wikipedia page. Nope, not really. Wait, what's this? This pronunciation key doesn't help me because it looks like gibberish. So thanks a lot, Wikipedia. I assume she's a big deal in Minari. So if you've seen Minari, she's Sunja in Minari. The
Yeah.
character of Sunja. Ooh, that's tough. I really want to say Amanda Seyfried just because I'm so shocked that my mind got changed.
Yeah,
so
well, I
drastically.
kind of want to cast my vote for her too for that exact reason.
Yeah. There was something very special about her role. and
She,
like I was very like attracted to it, not in like a like attracted like oh she's pretty, but like a magnetic way.
yeah.
Like she had a very
Well,
like kind of magnetic way to hold your focus.
she like the way that she brought that character to life was, and this is weird to say in a Gary Oldman film, she felt the most genuine and natural. I didn't feel like when she was on screen that it was a character. I really genuinely felt like, oh, is this her? Like,
Yeah.
she does a really good job. And that kind of
I feel that way,
personality
too.
is magnetic. Yeah, I was every time she wasn't on the screen, I was kind of like, let's bring her back.
Yeah, I could have used a lot more of her for sure. But Olivia Colman is incredible in The Father.
Ah, yeah.
Okay. Best Supporting Actor.
You got Sacha Baron
Which-
Cohen.
Oh, I was so confused. I was like, how on earth is Sacha Baron Cohen the Best Supporting Actor? But it's for
Oh, you
Trial
thought it was for
77.
Borat? No.
Yeah, because we had just did the actress for Borat, so I was very
Yeah. Sacha Baron Cohen for the Trial of the Chicago 7. You know, he does a great job. I'm big on when actors and actresses kind of like depart from what they're known for, getting out of that same kind of typecast. So he does a great job in a dramatic role. He really does. I can't take that away from him. I can tell you from the list, he's not winning this award.
No, not at all. Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah.
He will win the award.
Yeah, he's so amazing in everything.
This was, like the rest of the world, I got to know him after the movie Get Out
Right.
and Black Panther, but I honestly feel this was, if he builds off of this kind of momentum, he's going to be just an unstoppable talent in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He is so good in
he's
this movie.
Very, very talented guy. Leslie Odom Jr., One Night in Miami.
I didn't see it, so I can't speak to it.
I didn't either, honestly.
Paul Raci, one of those, for Sound of Metal. So this was this is the guy that plays his counselor.
Yeah, Joe.
Joe is so. Joe is the kind of guy that I feel every one of us needs in our life, whether we're going deaf or not. The way he approaches life lessons and having to adapt is, he's so good.
Yeah, and kind of in a tough love way, which is what you want.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's really good.
And Lakeith Stanfield for Judas and the Black Messiah, who is also great in this movie.
Yeah, he's really good. Also, people know him from Get Out. I saw him first in Atlanta, and he's great in Atlanta.
Okay, yep.
But yeah, he's a really good actor.
Daniel Kaluuya, not just because he's obviously going to win it, but his portrayal of Fred Hampton, to me, crazy intense. Very he does such a great job of showing how a good intention quickly and violently can become something really bad through escalation. He's pretty powerful in this movie.
Yeah. I agree. I think that he probably has to win on that account.
Best actress,
Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
which she's really. It's Viola Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's excellent.
You don't need to say anything else.
It's Viola Davis.
Yep. Andra Day, The United States versus Billie Holiday, as Billie Holiday.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't either, but people tend to like those biopic movies,
Yep.
especially about musicians.
Yeah. Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman.
Which I did not see either.
I didn't watch either.
I didn't know anything about it, honestly. Shia LaBeouf is in it.
Really?
Apparently.
Interesting.
Eliza Schlesinger? Is that what that said? Hold on.
Oh!
I left
Is it
the
a
page
comedy?
'cause- No, I don't know. Hold on. Where am I? Who is that? Oh, Vanessa Kirby. Yeah, Eliza Schlesinger.
I might watch it for her.
It's a Canadian-American drama.
Okay.
Directed by someone whose name I am not going to try to pronounce. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's more... Martin Scorsese was one of the producers of it.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to...
It's on Netflix, I think.
All right. Might have to check it out. I didn't realize Eliza Schlesinger was in it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
She probably has
like
like
she would
a
be-
scene, but
Yeah. I feel like she'd be pretty good in a
dramatic role.
also,
Oh, yeah.
Even though she's hilarious. And then Frances McDormand, Nomadland. How'd you feel about Frances?
Let me put it this way. The movie is cut together, and this is why I didn't think the editing was all that great, because it's essentially, there's no real flow. It is just
Yeah.
transition after transition, like just hard transition. Like, oh, she's taping a box at Amazon. Oh, she's walking down an aisle at Amazon. Oh, she's sitting outside her van. Oh, she's doing that, and she just like,
So it's like this happened, then this happened. and this
yeah,
happened, they're not
yeah, and it just
necessarily connected.
and she's so quiet the whole movie. She's got a few lines and like interactions. Well, she has more than a few lines. Like I said earlier, nothing about Nomadland besides the score and the cinematography stuck with me. The rest of the movie, I was like, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, no offense to Frances McDormand, but
Yeah.
no.
I like her in Fargo.
I love her in Fargo.
That's the only thing I could think
I
of.
almost feel like that might be, well, and Burn After Reading she's awesome in
True.
that.
She's good in both. In the
So essentially, when she works with her husband,
yeah,
she's
I was
awesome.
gonna say the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
are good.
Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman.
Yeah.
Okay. I know in the Golden Globe episode, I cast my vote for Viola Davis because it's Viola
Yeah.
Davis.
Right.
I kind of have to give it to Carey Mulligan now, though. Because I actually saw it. Yeah, she's very good. She's got like a weird kind of mix between like a Patrick Bateman and almost... did you ever see the movie Hard Candy?
Yes.
Okay, so Promising Young Woman feels like what would have been the sequel to Hard Candy.
An older version of that.
Yeah, yeah. And Carey Mulligan does a very good job of, to me, giving that character kind of a feel from like what Elliot Page
Good save.
did in that movie. And then kind of mixed with like a Patrick Bateman from American Psycho.
Yeah, a little bit deranged.
Yeah, but you get it. You sympathize with her. She's very intense in it.
Yeah.
She has a
That's
scene.
kind of- That's what I thought is probably the case, is that you very much sympathize with her motivation in that movie.
You do. And she does a great job. So she gets my vote now just because it was like, I wasn't expecting that, but then I got it.
Yeah. Well, this is very awkward because I haven't seen any of these movies. I don't know how that happened. I'm going to say Carey Mulligan, too, because I did watch some of it.
Okay.
I watched a little bit of it. And I know Carey Mulligan from other things, and she's incredible. Not that the rest aren't. Obviously, the rest are. But
But she is your...
I have to choose one.
best actor.
Yeah.
This
Riz
one's a lot
Ahmed.
more challenging for me after having watched
Yeah.
most of these. Actually,
Yeah.
oh, I saw all but one. Okay.
Yep.
Riz
All but two,
Ahmed
I'm guessing.
for Sound
Riz
of
Ahmed,
Metal.
Sound of Metal, who's
I-
awesome in it.
He is phenomenal.
He's most of the reason that movie's so good.
Yeah. Chadwick Boseman. Now his is the posthumous nomination. Posthumous.
Yep.
Shut up. Him and Ma Rainey. Dude,
Yeah.
he taps into some like Denzel Washington style dramatic
Oh, really?
acting. He has this monologue in that movie shortly after you meet him. It's about just before the halfway mark. That comes out of left field, and it is long and it is so intense the entire time.
Okay.
It it blew me away. I'm like, oh,
Wow.
I get why he got nominated. Like he was getting nominated whether he passed away or not. His performance was unreal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Anthony Hopkins in The Father,
Yep.
who also amazing. I mean, obviously Anthony Hopkins legendary,
Right.
but he does such a good job of portraying this thing, and I mean, he's also portraying an old man, so he's like somewhat internally dealing with dementia and not really knowing what's happening, what's real, what's not,
Yeah.
but also trying to like play it off, be cool, be cheeky, be like charming, also, and also like try to convince his daughter that he's fine and he can like do it on his own and he doesn't need any like taking care of and all this stuff, and coming to grips with not actually being able to be self-sufficient, which sucks. But he does an amazing job of portraying that. And like, it's a very, Anthony Hopkins is so good because he has that range of several different things just in his face alone that like change and stuff. He embodies a lot of stuff, so he's awesome. Gary Oldman in Mank.
A lot like
He's always
Viola
good.
Davis. It's Gary Oldman. Yeah,
Right.
he's awesome.
Yeah, all you really need to say about him. And,
And,
Stephen Yeun in Minari.
Which neither of us saw.
No, but
I'm sure he's really
having
good in it.
seen, having seen Stephen Yeun in other things, he's really, really good at like an actor. So I'm not at all surprised he's in the list.
I know during the Golden Globe we were both, or I was definitely. Oh, excuse me. I've got that weird like trying to burp, but it's not gonna go.
Yeah,
Riz Ahmed deserves to win, but my vote definitely has genuinely changed to Chadwick Boseman,
okay,
just because he is. I'm telling you, that first and he has a couple monologues, and he drives that movie. That movie
Yeah.
should not be called Ma Rainey's. It needs to
Okay.
be him. The whole movie,
Yeah.
the whole story focuses mainly on him.
interesting.
He's so good in it. It like crazy bittersweet because he passed away.
Right,
And it's crazy watching him in this movie because he was going and having his cancer treatments while filming.
yeah.
And if
so even more
anyone's ever
impressive.
like interacted with someone who's going through treatments, their energy levels just aren't there. I mean, those treatments
Yeah.
wear you down,
for sure,
but his energy is off the freaking chart. So to know what he was going through while doing it, I mean, it's everything about his character and his performance was the best part of the whole movie. Like very bittersweet, awesome performance. I'm really, really bummed we're never gonna see him in anything again.
yeah.
It just he blew me away in that movie. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, yeah, that's extremely bittersweet. Yeah, I think we both chose Riz Ahmed last time because it was the only one of the movies we'd seen.
Right.
I'm tempted to say Anthony Hopkins, but I think I am still going to lean towards Riz Ahmed because he's so great and so pivotal, and also because he's so young. I think that he exhibited a really incredible performance. Not to take anything away from Anthony Hopkins, but Anthony Hopkins has had a lot more practice than these younger actors have. And I was just very impressed by Riz Ahmed this year for sure.
Yeah. Best direct. Okay, so we're down to the big ones for you and I. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best director.
Yeah. Thomas Vinterberg. Is it Vinterberg?
Sure.
Another round?
I want to watch another round. I looked up what it was actually about, and it sounds interesting.
Yeah. I'm a pretty big Mads Mikkelsen fan, which I don't know if anybody's ever said that statement before, but I really...
Oh, he's got a big fan base.
He has to. He's amazing. And it's a Danish movie.
Yeah. David Fincher for Mank.
Yeah. I mean, it's Fincher.
It's Fincher. I love David Fincher.
One of the best of all time. One of the GOATs. Lee Isaac Chung Minari. Who has he done other stuff?
I don't know.
Okay. It doesn't sound familiar. I was just gonna look. It does. He's done a few movies, four previous movies,
which I have never seen.
Nothing that I've heard of. Yeah, one was a documentary film. All right.
Chloe Zhao for Nomadland.
Who's probably the... What's that word?
I think she's the favorite to win.
Yeah. Is it the incumbent, the one that won previously? Yeah, so she won the Golden Globe. She's probably the favorite for this.
Yeah.
And Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman. Which,
I mean, David Fincher's going to take my vote, mainly because his career is one I follow the most, and I think he's just so good at what he does.
Yeah. And of these movies, of the ones that I've seen,
Mank,
ones that I'm interested in
it's just the better one out of all of those. It just is.
I think that it definitely is. It's a really interestingly short list. Like a lot of the other movies that were in all the other categories are not really listed here, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they didn't add a few of the others, but
yeah,
it is.
It will be interesting. It will be interesting to see if, like we mentioned in the Golden Globes episode, if Mank gets snubbed, or I mean, there's not technically snubbed. They got a bunch of nominations, the most nominations again, but it's also like kind of about Hollywood in a negative way. So
right.
It's a complicated thing because Hollywood likes to jerk itself off, but also it's about how much Hollywood sucks and uses things
and is politicized.
And uses politics in a negative way, which I'm sure that will be political like speeches and stuff. So it's kind of ironic in that sense. But I hope David Fincher wins. I think it's pretty awesome. I love the story also of his dad having written it and wanting to make it for a long time and it finally getting made. So I think Mank is my favorite in that list.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. The big one.
Best Picture. We got The Father.
Yep. Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yup. Mank, obviously.
Yup. I couldn't get that.
You gotta loosen up your lips.
Yeah.
Minari.
Nomadland.
Promising Young Woman.
Sound of Metal.
And then The Trial of the Chicago 7.
My vote immediately jumps to The Sound of Metal. That's one I personally want to win. I think it deserves it the most. Mm-hmm. I don't think it has any shot of winning.
Yeah, I do think it's like the dark horse for sure.
It has zero politics. It's zero everything that the Best Picture typically is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very kind of isolated and pure in that sense that it's not trying to be important. But,
right. It's not. Yeah.
It's just a good, interesting, different movie.
The one I think it's going to come down to Nomadland and Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. I think you're probably right.
I really don't think Nomadland does. I don't understand why some people have loved this. I don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of boring. There's no real character development the whole time. It's I did not like Nomadland. I really like the score, but
yeah, and the cinematography.
But it's just so boring. But of those two that I think it comes down to, Judas and the Black Messiah, I know you said it didn't really do anything you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
To me, I agree for the most part. I think what I wasn't expecting that it did was still show this, the idea of equality and how quickly through escalation everything spiraled kind of out of control and got so dangerous during that time. And I really appreciated that they still showed you like everyone had their faults in all of those events.
Right.
So
I really like being able to see and show kind of, I think that a lot of people have heard of the Black Panthers, but don't know a lot about the Black Panthers.
Right.
And it's really interesting to see how, like you said, how kind of pure the motivation is, but taken too far or losing track of the ultimate goal and the ultimate way that you want to, the ultimate goal, how you want to achieve something, and you can end up doing things that are counterproductive in a way and lose sight of that, lose momentum in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed Judas and the Black Messiah. I thought it was a well-made film. I think it's one of the more honest and open
which are
historical
my
movies.
favorite. That's my favorite kind for sure.
So it gets a lot of respect for me in that aspect, that it was so just, no, everyone was a fuck up during this time.
I was wondering, and I was Googling it while you were giving your little review, how often the Oscars Best Picture matched the Golden Globes Best Picture. It's only been, I didn't get an overall count, but 5 of the last 10 have only been the same. So there's a 50-50 shot, at least recently, that a different Best Picture than Nomadland would happen.
They did it with, oh my God, what was the movie? So it was when they announced La La Land had won the Best Picture, but it was not La La Land. I forget, what was the movie that actually won that year? Because it was the one that no one paid any attention to.
It wasn't, who's that guy that's in Green Book? Wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. It was Green Book.
Green Book?
Yeah,
it was
that
Green
no
Book.
one paid any attention to. And then Green Book was the actual winner. So that little moment in Oscar history, I kind of want to see get repeated here, where like the odds favorite gets
Yeah.
blasted out of the water by the Dark Horse. Sound of metal, sound of metal, sound of metal.
That would be pretty amazing.
I would love to see that happen. I don't think Sound of Metal is going to get
Yeah.
its due, which
Odds
sucks.
are pretty low. I feel like it could certainly win some of the earlier categories we talked
Yeah.
about. Best Picture is a high hope.
I want to see So, did you go on IMDb and like do your voting? Because you can do that on IMDb, where you can
No, I
vote
did
for some of the nominations, and it gives you a percentage of votes that movie has generated.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So for the Best Picture, Nomadland is the favorite at 29% of the votes, which 29% of these people go watch something else. Sound of Metal
They probably didn't see it. They just voted for it because it's the one that they figure will probably win.
right,
And they want to be right.
and it could be that. Sound of Metal has a 6% chance, according or 6% vote. I mean,
Yeah.
on IMDb,
Yeah.
which
It's more than 0.
it
So that's
it deserves so much more praise than that.
Is it the least? That's the smallest
yeah, it's
one.
in last place.
That's crazy. For me, which one would I choose? I really, of the ones that I feel like were the most amazing movies of this year, it might be The Father.
Oh, okay.
It was a really good movie, and it was really interesting. As like I was watching it, and there's kind of like I kind of was getting like a sci-fi vibe from it because you don't really know. I guess the time aspect, you kind of don't know how his perception of time is, and time is such an interesting thing as influencing how we perceive the world, and so there was just a lot to it, and it was really interesting. So I think that makes it very different, at least of anything I've ever seen made and won before.
You know, that makes me even more excited to watch that, because you know me, I do gravitate towards more dramatic, and I like that in a movie.
Yeah.
So that I want to see it. I've wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Hearing you share your opinion
And the
on
relational aspect.
it, yeah, that makes me even more excited to check it out. So I'm very excited to actually sit down and watch it.
Yeah, I'm interested in your opinion once you see it also. But yeah, I'll probably go with that.
Oh,
But like you said, I think that the favorites are probably Nomadland or Judas and the Black Messiah. I could also see Promising Young Woman maybe being the quote-unquote dark horse that they're like, let's give it to that, but I don't know. Having not seen it, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't meet that caliber.
I don't think it does. I actually will be surprised if Promising Young Woman wins anything. Which sucks. I mean, I think it would have been a more effective movie to me if it felt like it knew what it was better. There's just after you watch it, I'll give you kind of my
Okay.
the part that I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to do that this week, and then we can talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Because this is coming out the week before the Oscars, so people have a chance to watch the ones we recommend at least.
Sound of
And then
Metal.
they can play along at home with their Oscar bingo cards.
Yeah.
Next Sunday when the Oscars happen. So that's all of the Oscar movies.
That's our.
I forgot
that's all
to
of them,
mention
right?
earlier. Yeah, that's all of the categories that are available. For some reason, I thought that Hamilton was going to be nominated for Best Picture. So I was, or not Best Picture, Best soundtrack or score or song, original song. It wasn't. So I never got to bring up the fact that I actually watched.
I know you
Hamilton.
caved. We've been so adamant about not watching Hamilton, and then you texted me, spoiler, I'm watching Hamilton with Christy.
Here's what happened. I got a little bit too much to drink, and I lost my inhibitions that would normally make me not want it. It was a good amount of beer, but there was also some whiskey and stuff involved. And so I didn't have anything else to do, and Christy wanted to watch Hamilton, and I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, this will be good content for the podcast, so why not? Put it on, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, we watched it. We watched most of it. Honestly, we had to stop it because we both fell asleep because we're old people, but it's long. It's, for one thing, it's long, and it feels long. It feels long. I think primarily because you're having to pay so much attention. It's a musical, and most of the music is like rap, hip hop kind of music. So they talk quickly, and you're paying attention. And you're wanting to pick up on the lines and get the story out of it. So because of that, I think it feels very long. Especially compared to something, I think the same week we watched the Snyder Cut, which is even longer, and it doesn't feel as long at all. So that's one thing. The second thing, I'm not just saying this because I previously said I didn't want to watch it. I watched it, and I was like trying to gauge, is this good or not? I was also asking Christy, I was like, do you like this? Why do you like this? Like trying to get another person's perspective, like an interview. I was like, so what do you think about this? What is it about this that makes you like it? All that stuff. She did like it overall. I think she really liked it. I didn't really like it. I thought it was not
hot take.
Not everything. Yeah. I'm sure nobody's surprised if they heard my previous statements on it. I think that it's my opinion, which is all it is. My opinion is the reason. I think the people that like it are not necessarily the people that like really good hip hop. I think the people that like it are the people that like Broadway musicals, and they primarily like Hamilton because it's different. And just because it's new and different, they're like, oh, it's amazing. If you actually like good hip hop, it's not that great writing and performance. The only song that stuck with me that I actually kind of remember and had in my head the next day kind of thing is the only non-hip hop song. It's the song the King sings. It kind of caught me off guard because the King of England is Holden from Mindhunter, the guy, the younger detective. Yeah. I was like, what is the King of England doing? Why is it Detective Holden singing this song? So that was pretty funny. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was fine. It was like an updated version of 1776, if you've ever seen that musical. But it was 100% singing. And it was interesting. I mean, it was interesting in the sense that it was filmed on stage. Like, it wasn't like a movie musical. That is also kind of a different thing. I'm a bigger fan of movie musicals as opposed to just pure Broadway musicals.
Okay.
But I guess being able to see Broadway musical in your house, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, it was fine. If you like it, I don't care. But for me, it wasn't exactly for me.
I've thought about it since you and I don't even remember what episode that was for. Mm-hmm. Was that the Nickelodeon episode that you and I started our anti-Hamilton?
Yeah. Well, it depends. We recorded the Nickelodeon episode first, but right. I think the Golden Globes one came out first.
That's true.
And so from the audience's perspective, we started on Golden Globes, shit on it. The Nickelodeon, we shit on it more.
You were not I've heard a lot of people talk about the hip hop style that the songs primarily are. Mm-hmm. And I've thought about it since you and I first started dogging on it, having still not seen it. Hearing your opinion on it makes me not want to watch it even more. Hearing you say primarily the songs are hip hop and not that great hip hop makes me want to watch it even less.
Yeah, I mean that's
been a big turnoff for me, and I like hip hop, I like rap, but
I was going to ask that because that's dependent on a spectrum. If you like certain kinds of hip hop, you might like it more. I like more harder hip hop, like not underground, quote unquote.
No,
but
I grew up with like the late 80s and 90s rap.
Yeah.
And early 2000s rap, which to me, all of that is the best rap. And
I think as a way of formulating lyrics and rhymes and words and stories, that stuff that you just mentioned does it so much better.
It's just it has a way different feel to it, whereas a lot of rap starting in also the early 2000s became more like club and catchy mental, like that was all they really cared about instead of telling the stories and all that. But knowing that Hamilton has so much rap in it has been a big turnoff for me, just because I'm like, I don't get how rap songs, how anyone could correlate rap with Hamilton and that time period. It just, to me, I cannot fit those pieces, and I kind of feel like if I watched it, I would just be annoyed the most during it.
It didn't really get the sense that rap is like essential or a commentary or related or elevates this overall story. I got the impression that it was just, this is a different modern contemporary take on an olden time American Revolution kind of thing. And I was also kind of annoyed. They kind of treat the Thomas Jefferson character like he's a dick or a jerk or something. He's right. Like everything that he's saying, that they're like, oh, Thomas Jefferson. He's like, no, well, we can't do that. And I was like, he's right. Thomas Jefferson's right. So honestly, it's whatever if you're a fan, but it just wasn't for me.
You know what? I guess that saves me. How long was it? Or is it?
It's like almost 3 hours, I think 2:45 or something.
Okay. Well, I think you just helped save me from losing that amount of time.
Yeah. If you ever 2 hours and 40 minutes is what I have it at. If you ever have nothing else to do, it's not a bad thing.
I'll probably just watch the Snyder Cut again. Oh!
Yeah. That's a really groundbreaking piece of art. All right. Well, that's our
award.
Takes.
Yeah, that's the Oscar episode.
Hot and not takes.
Right. From a couple schmucks that just watch a lot of movies.
They watched, I would say, most of the movies if you don't count the categories we skipped over.
It was kind of funny, right? It was kind of funny getting ready to prep for this one. I was excited. I was like, I'm finally going to be prepping again and watching all these movies again. And then I texted you and was like, looking at the list, there's like 3 I haven't watched. And I still didn't get to watching them all. But yeah. So pick your favorites, watch some of the ones that Jake and I have been recommending. I honestly, Sound of Metal. Go watch it. I need to watch The Father.
I was gonna say, if there's any like groundbreaking movies this year or like defining movies this year, Sound of Metal and The Father have to be it.
Okay. Yeah. Check them out. Cast your votes if you're into that kind of thing. You can do it on imdb.com. They have a whole Oscar section.
You can also go to our Facebook or Instagram and comment on there.
And you know what? Do that. Screw IMDb. Yeah. Go to our social media or go to our actual website and message us. Give us your what movie affected you the most, if you've even seen or heard of some of the movies that are nominated this year, and whether you give a shit about the Oscars or not.
Maybe we should do like IMDb did, rip off their idea and put up our own, like, which vote for your favorite between these things, and we can see what people like more.
That's a good idea. Everyone likes votes. Yeah, we'll do that. Keep your eyes out for that, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, IMDb, for that idea. Yeah. So go to @movieboners on Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
or movieboners.com, and
You can leave
check
us a
out, let us
voicemail.
know. You can call in next time and let us know what you thought. I will try, honestly, to get Promising Young Woman to watch so I can actually hear your opinion on it. And if you call in, you can let us know what you think about Promising Young Woman or anything
or
else.
any of the other movies that are up there.
Yep.
Yeah. So thanks, folks.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Enjoy your Oscar if you choose to watch it, or
Watch party. Oh, you know what? I was gonna put on like a tie or some dumb thing. I actually was Googling those those tuxedo T-shirts.
Right.
I don't have one, but I was thinking about getting one, and I was like, this is a pain in the ass for like a one episode thing.
Yeah, I didn't even bother to try to find a shirt that fit, so I went with a xenomorph and a face hugger attacking a child, and it says "Let's give hugs."
That's wholesome and nice.
Right.
A good message. Yeah. Mine is a wrestling shirt. So
There it is.
Under wrestling.
There it is. Yep.
It's Black and Brave Wrestling Academy.
Oh.
Which I did not attend, unfortunately.
Right. You're just a fan.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's
I
it.
think that's all.
Cool.
There were a lot of other things, but I don't think there's anything else we had to talk about. So we'll let everybody go and enjoy your weekend, or whenever you're listening to this in the future.
Yeah. Have a good one, everybody.
See you guys next time.
Bye.